Got the shower, getting my shit together for this review, getting ready for this DJ stream tonight.
Oh,
You had a good day?
yeah, man. Real cool.
I feel you. Jungle Brothers.
Yeah,
Also got it inside the zine tonight too.
can't wait. That's what's up.
Yeah, I got the creme de la creme today. What's up, everybody in the chat? Yo,
Nice. What was that? 90?
91.
91?
Yeah, this is a rare ass. This is a rare ass edition. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't start buying them to like 92. That's what up, Antoine? That's good.
I'm gonna start about 12 minutes. We might have a battle of the bangers pretty soon.
Yeah, long time. It's all good. My condolences to your family, and you know, just keep your ones in your heart, man.
Yeah, my condolences, Info.
All right. And you say you don't have this album, right?
I have it.
Oh, you do? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Real collectors in this biatch. Sage's asking, what was it like being a street team back in the day?
It was fun.
How long were you there for? How many years?
From 2000 to 2005. Who the hell is this? Why is people calling me and I'm on live, yo? I hate that shit.
Fuck that shit. That was a nice ringtone, by the way. Shit.
Like from 2000, 2005, you know. That at 2005 at that time they were like already going to digital, like social media when we had MySpace and all that. So they let the
Nah, I
artists
miss
promote their own
MySpace.
shit now. Huh?
I miss MySpace.
You miss MySpace?
Yeah. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all talk about Instagram and Twitter. Y'all don't know shit about MySpace.
Yeah, they don't know about MySpace, man. That was early social media.
No. Shit, y'all can keep y'all Twitters and all the bullshit. Shit.
But yeah, but like they let the art once MySpace came in and Facebook, they let the artists promote their own shit. So that was like the end of street teams and all that. You see how Soldier Boy got on and he promoted himself and Justin Bieber. That's what they do now. So they let the artists promote their own brand or whatever they got coming out. So they don't need a record label no more.
Soldier Boy. Oof.
And then YouTube came in, and that was it.
And that was back before YouTube became
Right.
shit.
Well, see, I got my YouTube account in 2006. I made it. That's like early YouTube when nobody was there. It was like a ghost town on there. They just had like a bunch of videos, and I don't even think they had songs on there. They had like videos, and they had like the porn, and then government made them clean it up in '07. They were like, yo, if you don't clean up this site, we shutting it down for good. So they had to clean up YouTube, and here we are.
I hate that shit
You hear what?
when the government gets involved.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be as big now if the government didn't. You probably wouldn't even have YouTube if they didn't clean it up. You know, nah, ain't no more street teams. Street teams is gone.
It's dead.
That shit is dead. You might have like I seen Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes had one for his last album. He had a street team for his last album, but it's pretty much on the artists now. So
It be like that.
Michael Scott, what's good?
It's the nigga Mike. Mike on the dot.
All right. Pull up my notes. I'm ready whenever you are.
Let's go.
Let's go. What's up, you two? How's everyone doing this lovely Thursday morning? It's your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
And today we're going to talk about the Jungle Brothers with their first album, Straight Out the Jungle. This album came out November 8th, 1988 on Warlock Records. It was produced by Jungle Brothers, Tony Terry, and also Q-Tip. Both Tony Terry and Q-Tip, they were uncredited. Excuse me. Just the members, Baby Bam, Mike G, and Sammy B. This was actually the first Native Tongues album, y'all. We actually talking about hip hop history right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Also Q-Tip did like a few guest appearances here and there. So yeah, the Jungle Brothers. Now I'm gonna be real with you guys. I have a hip hop confession. Compared to a lot of Native Tongue groups, the Jungle Brothers were my least listened to out of everybody in the collective. Not saying that they were whack though, because they had a lot of hip hop classic under the belt and whatnot. But I'm not the biggest house music fan like that, in my opinion. And I know that a lot of their songs borrow from that house music shit. Believe it or not, this was actually the first time I've heard this album because I heard the Done by the Forces of Nature album from '89, which that's actually a pretty good, dope, cool album. But that was a bit more house music inspired. I'm gonna re-listen to the album and shit, but
Right.
yeah, man. But I do respect their placement in hip hop history and whatnot. I feel like they are one of the best hip hop groups of all time. Now, granted, when it comes to Native Tongues, I'm more of a Tribe, De La, like I'm more of them. But at the same time, it's good. I'm actually revisiting Jungle Brothers and shit because I got a lot to say about this album. But I'm gonna talk about how you got into them.
I think they're more than just dance music. You know what I'm saying? Like this album that we talk about, they only have one dance song on here, You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? They experimented with that, later on, but it was actually uh the dance song that I first heard about them, like when they played the video. And even back then I was like, it was just different, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is a rap group that's doing a house song. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't at that time, it wasn't like accepted, you know what I'm saying? And then later on in the 90s, when you had groups like CNC Music Factory and Snap and D Light, they incorporated hip hop in they dance music, and it was like, dance the club MTV era was like, it had hip hop with dance music, you know what I'm saying? So they're like Jungle Brothers really is like the one of the leaders of that, you know what I'm saying? Just incorporating dance music and they out in they music, as well as Queen Latifah. She had a the Coming to My House joint on her first album as well, another native tongue member. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like when we talk about native tongues, the whole collective, it's not just them that slept on. Like, people forget, like, you had the Beatniks as a part of them. I
Right.
feel like they severely slept on. Chi Ali, his only album, severely slept on. You know, there's like the native tongue members, and then you got like the cousins, Common and Most Def and them. But Jungle Brothers, for whatever reason, they were slept on. I don't know why, but they were dope. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing the movie for Living Large that came out in '91, and with T.C. Carson from Living Single, and Africa was in that film with them. He played his friend Baker, and I think that was like the first time I seen Africa like act in anything, because I know he's done stuff in the past like shows and stuff, and that was cool. Made like 5 million at the box office, and I remember seeing that on home video. Um, but they've always had some dope records. You know what I'm saying? The promo from this album, and Straight Out the Jungle, Jimbrowski. You know, later on they came out. Remember they came out with that album that was like '97, the Raw Deluxe album. They
Yeah.
came out with the Brain joint, the Roots. I think the Roots had produced that joint for them.
Oh wow.
And I didn't hear the second album. I didn't hear the second album from them. There's another album they came out with like recently too that I didn't listen to, but I know this album and the Raw Deluxe album from them, and just like a lot of the references from this album, like De La really incorporated that in their records and stuff, and Tribe, and they were, people, when it came to the native tongues, people just had their favorites, and it was more about De La and Tribe, and even Black Sheep. You know what I'm saying? Black Sheep, had
Ooh.
they had they stamp on the collective when they dropped their first album and Choices Yours blew up, and you know um Queen Latifah was huge for the collective, and Moni Love when she came in, and I think Moni was dating Africa, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how she got introduced to the clique, and she when she was working on she was like being in the studio with them and then seeing them work, and then she was dating Africa, and then she was working on her album as well, and she was slept on as well. We talked about her two albums, and you know that was like the first real collective for the East Coast, like for us, like it was them and the Juice Crew for us. You know what I'm saying? But it was like Native Tongues just had that, real. It felt like a real friends, just having fun and doing music. Doing what they love, and I think that's why everybody connected with them. You know what I'm saying? And You they were like our first like boot camp clique. You know what I'm saying? Without the fatigues and the street edge, it was like they were like our first boot camp clique, but like from a more peaceful side. I want to say, like, you know what I'm saying, like your mom could bump some songs from them. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause my mom knew a lot of the songs from Tribe and De La and Moni and Queen Latifah. So it was like they were like the collective that your parents would like. You know what I'm saying? Like the collective, like if you came home with a couple of them, your parents would be like, yo, like I like your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like they cool. And they just were legends, man. Like Jungle Brothers just set it off for the whole clique. The Buddy remix, they were on that. I remember first time seeing that video on Video Music Box and seeing everybody in the video together just having fun. Jungle Brothers with Moni and Latifah and Dayline Tribe and everybody just had that's the way it should be. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that was like the definition of like a real like rap crew, but they were just all friends. They were just all different in their own right. Nobody sounds the same from the other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own personality and identity, and you know, um, they were just dope. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta be discussed more. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't talk about native tongues and just know Tribe and De La and that's it. They gotta Everybody should know all the members, not just Tribe and De La. They should know all the members and the artists that were influenced by that collective and were like considered the offsprings for the native tongues. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't even know that. Like they might listen, they might like Common, they might like Most Def, and not even know that they connected to that whole crew. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Jungle Brothers is definitely the starters for this shit. So I'm glad that we talking about them now.
That was a very dope introduction, boss. Cause that's gonna pale in comparison to mine because I don't really have an exact moment how I got into the
Right.
Jungle Brothers. Like I said, growing up, I was not really like the biggest fan, but I guess to be vague, VH1 had that 100 greatest hip hop songs, and they
Mhm.
had, I think it was the song from the second album. Hold on, let me look it up because I can't remember the top of my
Yeah,
head.
we gonna talk about that album too, Antoine. Nature of a Sister. That's another underrated album that
I already did a review on it,
don't
but
get. Oh, you did a
yeah,
review
but
on
we
it
can,
already?
yeah, years ago,
Yeah,
but we can still talk about it again one
that's
time.
always been like one of my favorite Latifah albums. Like, I want to say that was the first one I bought from her actually. And then I
Yeah,
got the first one later on, but the first one I actually bought from her was Nature of a Sister, and then everything else after that.
respect. But yeah, I think it was Our House You song that was on the 100 greatest hip hop songs, and I remember hearing it, and I'm just like, let me say my thoughts on that. But looking at the hip hop history, you definitely gotta respect them because they're really like the benchmark for like a lot of not just people in the native tongues. I feel like personally people like in hip hop history, like if you go beyond the spectrum of the native tongues, like you said, you mentioned the Commons and then the Black Star, the hell,
Mhm.
Ruckus Records,
Right.
Kanye and shit like that. J. Cole, I feel like they were
Mhm.
definitely very influential to say the
Right.
least, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I definitely gotta agree with you on that. So let's get
Yeah. That's
started. So,
yeah. Mike G is Red Alert's nephew. I mean, they did an interview. I want to say it was like maybe 2 years ago on Swing in the Morning, and they were talking about how they started, and then he talked a little bit about his uncle being Red Alert is a legendary DJ over here. I listened to a lot of his 5 o'clock traffic jam mixes on Hot 97 back in the 90s. He's great. You know what I'm saying? He's been on a lot of dope albums and records, and he spun a lot of new artists and stuff at that time. So he's great.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Red Alert, hip hop legend right there. All right. All right. So for those who don't know who the Jungle Brothers are, they are a hip hop group hailing from New York City, consists of members Mike G, Baby Bam, and DJ Sammy B. You know what I'm saying? They got together by meeting in high school. You know, they had their love for hip hop and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And so they eventually formed a group. And when they formed the group, you know, they started working on their debut album, which honestly claimed that it took about 2 years to make and stuff like that too. So they caught the ear of DJ Red Alert. Like Crime mentioned, he's a very legendary DJ and stuff like that too, because he heard the song Jim Browski. We're going to talk about that. And so Red Alert got them gigs around New York City and whatnot. And while they were performing in New York City, they took in a young rap producer by the name of Q-Tip and stuff too. And so Q-Tip literally just became like their little brother, which I mentioned he's on this album as well too. And what people don't really fucking know about Jungle Brothers, they also were the first rappers that was managed by the late great Chris Lighty and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was what really made Chris Lighty become like the successful manager that he was and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which I didn't even fucking know they were managed by Lighty. So that's saying something right there.
I
too.
knew Tribe was. I know Tribe and Chi Ali was under him. I didn't know Jungle Brothers too.
Interesting. But yeah, man. So fast forward to 1988. Well, yeah, 1988. That's when this album had came out. And when this album came out, it was very different from sonically. It was very different from a lot of hip hop albums at the same time too, because for one, the mixing was just very dirty. It was very low and compressed. And to be real with you, that I feel like that's what really made the album, because if you listen to this album, you will have that feeling like it was recorded in '93, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like you hear, let's compare this like the 36 Chambers, just how the drums were and stuff like that, the mixing, even like the back and forth and stuff too. And what's also crazy is the fact that a lot of the samples that they use were some of the first samples like they used for hip hop and stuff like that, you know. And a lot of those samples came from the Ultimate Beats and Breaks compilations, which all my producers, y'all should definitely know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of famous loops and beats have been sampled from that shit, you know. So yeah, man. So yeah, this album definitely should get the fucking regard the respect and regard it should get, you know what I'm saying? Even the album cover. Let's talk about the album cover. That shit. Right there,
I got now. This is the actual album on cassette. This the color the red, and this is the actual instrumental, and the instrumental is green. This is the green tape. So I don't know if they're still in print, but they were. This is from Get On Down, and Get On Down had like the set of the album and the instrumental together. So, but I don't know that that was like back in like 2019. So I don't know if it's still in print. You know what I mean? But I love the colored cassettes for the album, and the album cover too. Like the illustration was great with them in the jungle and everything, and I loved it. It's definitely a classic album cover.
So when you say you got the original version, you got the version without I'll House You?
Yeah, it's on it. It's on the album.
Oh, okay. I misheard. I thought you said you had the OG copy. I'm just like, wow.
But this is the OG copy of the album. It's just the colored cassette.
Yeah, because I was looking up that Our House You was added to the reissues when they reissued the album and stuff like that. It wasn't really on the OG copy.
It wasn't on the OG. Maybe this is the reissue. Right? I thought this was like the OG. Well, everything else is OG, but this is the reissue with the Girl Our House You track on it.
Regardless, you got the album, so it don't really matter like that. Yeah.
And when you play, like you said, like when you play like some album, like this is why I love the 90s, like 80s and 90s. Like when you bought albums on the cassette, you could tell the difference. Like when you play it on vinyl, when you play the CD, you know what I'm saying? Because it had like that monotone, dusty sound to it, and albums like the Gangstar early Gangstar albums and Into the Wu Tang and albums like this, like they just had that monotone boombox sound to it. You know what I'm saying? You can't duplicate that on a CD or vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it makes it that much more special to hear albums like that on tape.
I agree, definitely.
You know?
Yes, yes. So yeah, man. Let's get started. This album has 13 tracks. Track number one, Straight Out the Jungle. Very, very, very nice way to begin the album. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're coming from and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Again, classic song. I love the way this song started out.
I love it. The beat was fire. You got Sammy Beat scratching it up on the track, and love the horns on it. Africa saying educated man from the motherland. You see, they call me a star, but that's not what I am. Love the way that he started off that track. It's always been one of my favorites and a great album cut to start off the album.
I definitely agree with you on that, man. Like they just all went in on this fucking track. This was a nice starter off, nice
Yeah.
start song to start off the album. You know.
Hmm.
Track number two, What's Going On? Very, very, very dope song. Of course, they used the Marvin Gaye "What's Going On" sample and stuff like that. This was pretty much like a very political track right here. You know, they're talking about like a lot of the ill wills going on in the world. You know, police brutality, racism, conspiracies and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Baby Bam definitely stole the show with this one and stuff too. You know, the second verse with him and Mike G, they definitely did their thing on this one. So I like it.
I love Mike G's verse where he's like talking about how he hated to flip through the history books in class, and it wasn't he was looking for our people. Where was our people in the history books, and he couldn't find them. And I definitely could relate to that. Like when you in class and out when whether it's high school or elementary school, and it's history or social studies for some people, and your teachers is like they teaching you about the Civil War. They teaching you about you know how Columbus came to America with the three ships. You know what I'm saying? They teaching about Moby Dick or whatever the fuck. Where's our people in the history? You know what I'm saying? It's the only time our people will be mentioned at that time in history is when they came off the slave ships. You know what I'm saying? So I used to think about that all the time. I'm like, well, why are we talking about fucking Hitler and all that? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's our people in the history books? You know what I'm saying? When it's time for talk about slavery days, that's when they mention us and Harriet Tubman in the Underground Railroad. That's the only time they mention black people in history. Any other
Exactly.
time, well, let's talk about Christopher Columbus and the Nina, the Pina, the Santa Maria, all that other bullshit that nobody cared about. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like his verse, and he said, now history is not my favorite subject. I used to flip through the pages and get upset seeing little of black and too much of the other. They tried to brainwash you. Picture that, a Jungle Brother. Read this, read that, answer question 3. But when I got to 3, it had nothing to do with me. Something was wrong, and I knew it all along. Now tell me, please, what's going on? And I love the Marvin Gaye sample from a classic Marvin Gaye album, and the beat was fire. The horn samples on it, great record.
And even when they talk about our history, the shit that they whitewash is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
As fuck,
But I mean, for me, that back in the day, they would talk about, slavery days, and they would, talk about, you see like the pictures of the slave ships and how they had the black people arranged in the slave ships and all that. But that's the only time they talked about black people regarding history. Every other thing is, oh, let's talk about how JFK got shot and all that, and that have nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? The first man
right.
on the moon, wasn't black. You know.
We don't even know if he really went to the moon.
Hey, that's another thing. That could be a conspiracy right there. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand what Mike G was talking about.
Wale, what's good, boss?
It was good.
All right. So now we're gonna go into track number 3, "Black Is Black" featuring Q-Tip. This was the other political song off this album and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Self-explanatory. Yeah, just pretty much, them, embracing the Afrocentrism and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Have a young Q-Tip on the hook and pretty much doing like the first 2 verses and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very dope. I feel like he definitely stole the show. I love the line when he says, "All of this BS must cease. All I am is one black man and a mighty big white hand. Brother, brother, sister, sister. If you're Miss or if you're Mister, listen please to the fact. Black is black is black is black." Like, very, very heavy shit. You know what I'm saying? Definitely love that fucking song. That should have also been a single.
Yeah, this was dope. And remember that little part in Me, Myself, and I, where he comes in and he says
Yep.
black is black?
Mhm. Black is black.
Yes, that's another reference to this album. De La did that a lot, for Jungle Brothers and Nas also sampled this for on Street Disciple for the Sekou Story track. Like I think it was like the first part of it, because I know like there was a beat switch on that track on that little story he did for 1 and 2. But yeah, Nas sampled this on Streets Disciple. I love the beat on it and the horns and Q-Tip. You get like an early Q-Tip on this, and it was definitely a great record.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs off this record, in my opinion, and shit. All right. Next track we got is Jimbrowski. This might be one of the most signature tracks right here, in my opinion. Nice usage of that funkadelic sample. Nice use of that some funkadelic sample that they use. That's been used a lot of times in hip hop. It's shit, you know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope song. Also features scratches, from Red Alert and him doing some of the ad libs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Very dope track right here. What I got from Jimbrowski and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, would be like kind of tricky though. I was kind of confused. Like, do you know what? I'm used to. What did you get from Jabowski? Because I was trying to like.
I get like, how there's been songs done like this before, right? Like how when Pun did "My Dick" with Tony Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
Basically talking about their penis.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what they call That's what you call your penis, or you call your Jimmy or whatever. Pun just like got nasty with it, but they basically talking about their penis on here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Jimbrowski, that's what it is. That shit, and then they saying like, so when you're feeling blue, don't front on the Jimmy because Jimmy can help you. Yeah, this is like a song about their dick. That's basically what we would call it back then. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy had to be like the condoms.
Got you. This is a very dope track right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this was great. I love the beat for it. Yeah, it's been done before. Like artists talking about they dick is, but they did it without really getting too explicit with it.
Right.
Yeah,
EPMD.
BEP. Yeah, right. KRS-One did that too.
EPMD did the Bozak.
The Bozak, right? Mr. Bozak, right?
Okay, yeah, I had a slow moment and shit. I was like, okay, well, shit. All right, track number 5, "I'm Gonna Do You." Still on the sex tip right here. This is a pretty unorthodox song. I feel like this song was pretty okay. Don't really dislike it. Not really one of my favorites, but pretty alright.
I love it. Dope ass beat, the bass line. You got Baby Bam saying, "You say you have a boyfriend, but like you said, he is a boy, and he is just a toy, something that you pick up, played with, and put down. But girl, you can have me all year round." I loved his flow on that. He killed it. This was like a joint for like the ladies, you know. I guess they was trying to get some ass, on the track. It was dope.
Right. Definitely. All right. Track number 6, I'll House You. Okay. This is a very complicated song to like. You can tell that the label wanted them to do like a commercial kind of song and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. I get the influence of the song. Bridging the gap between hip hop and house music. And this is actually the first non-Chi-Town hip house record to be a club hit, from what I looked up. But if I was to be blunt, this might be my least favorite song off this album. If I was to be blunt, but at the same time, it's not really a bad song per se. It's not NWA "Some to the Dance" 2 levels, but I feel like with this record, it's an acquired taste. I'm gonna be real.
I didn't like it when it first came out back in the day. I just thought, I mean, because I think like it just caught everybody by surprise that when we look in hindsight, when we look at Jungle Brothers, now it's like, oh, they were like a rap group that was doing house music. It just wasn't at that time. It wasn't it wasn't accepted in hip hop like that,
Right.
really. But then it's like, but then when you see, like I said, like when you see artists like CNC Music Factory, they were like club techno, but they had hip hop in their music. When you look at Snap, when you look at Delight, when you look at Suzanne Vega, a lot of even Crystal Waters, a lot of the club scene in the early '90s had like hip hop beats to a lot of those songs. You know what I'm saying? And you even had artists like Q-Tip doing the grooves in the house remix with Delight. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I think later on, and then when you had like Queen Latifah, come out with her first album, she had it on there, and other artists, I think it became accepted, you know, within the genre. You know what I'm saying? So when it first came out, I didn't like it, but years later now, I appreciate what they did. Like to take a chance and a risk as an artist and experiment, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But at least they, as artists, you have to like try different things, and not, you don't want to, like Illmatic was a great album. I don't think Nas wanted to do another Illmatic over and over again. He wanted to try different shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's gonna hit, sometimes it's not. But as an artist, I think you got to try different things and experiment. To evolve your sound. I think that's what they were doing for this album, and just trying something different with a house joint. And I think it was a big record. And it's much more appreciated now than it was back then.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that. All right. Now we're gonna get into On the Run. This is actually my favorite track off the album, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope track, you know what I'm saying? They were just going in on this record and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, the beat and everything was good. I love the back and forth that they were doing and shit like that too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, self-explanatory, you know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope track. Love it.
There's actually a remix for this with Q-Tip, the Jimmy Raise a Ton remix. I actually have that on my iPod still. I love the
Oh
remix for that.
wow.
'Cause there's a video for it also. Um, this was dope. This is definitely a dope ass track. I love the scratching on it and the horn loop, and yeah, this was a banger.
Yeah, definitely a very banging track. All right. Next track right here we got on the Behind the Bush. Self-explanatory. This was pretty much talking about the skins. Trying to get some pussy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, Kind of like this one better than the one that I'm gonna do you track. You know what I'm saying? So this is a pretty dope track. I like it.
Behind the Bush, it's another erotic type of joint, and like I said, they were raunchy. They just didn't get too explicit with it, but I think the track was real melodic, and you have Mike G saying, "Jungle love is all that I'm giving, jungle life is all that I'm living. Girl, I'ma do you the best I can, letting you know I'm your jungle man." I thought it was dope, a dope ass beat, and I definitely liked it.
Definitely. All right, next track. Because I got it like that. Classic, classic, classic track right here. You know what I'm saying? This was like a pretty braggadocio track. It's kind of crazy too because they ball the dancing on the dance floor.
Dangerously,
That I
dangerously.
adore.
What
That
that was on? Wasn't that on the Buddy remix too?
Buddy remix, yes,
Yeah, you see, another reference that De La had for them. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
Like putting them out there, like, yo, it's not just about us. Check out my people's Jungle Brothers. I thought that was
exactly.
brilliant.
Very, very dope record.
Yeah, this was dope. I definitely enjoyed this. The beat, the scratching on it. The melody sounds like something like from a circus almost, or like an amusement park. But I think it was dope. And then like the group is shouting out, different cities that got it like that, like Philly and Boston, Miami, DC, New York. So I think it was a banger.
Definitely a very banging track. All right, extract bragging and boasting. Self-explanatory, another braggadocio track. Bam and Mike G definitely did their thing on this one. I love the line when Mike G says, "As I ridicule the rude and fool the fool, ignite the party, excite the crowd. I make the quietest person want to go and get loud. I make the hot get hotter when I start to rap." Like, I love those fucking lines. I love his wordplay on that shit. Very, very, very dope record.
And my reward for going off is to hear people clap. I love that. It was like a freestyle between Mike and Baby Bam, and they killed it. And they like rapping over the impeach the president beat. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like so many artists have used that beat just to freestyle. So you know what I'm saying? And it's a classic break beat. And I loved it.
yeah, definitely love this fucking track right here. Such a classic, classic, classic. Down and dirty hip hop track, in my opinion. Um, Sounds of the Safari. Very, very nice instrumental. They had two instrumentals on this record. This is actually my favorite out of the instrumentals and stuff like that. Very, 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 really very grimy and stuff like that. Like for 1988. Yeah, I fucking love this record.
Yeah, this was dope. I definitely enjoyed the instrumental, and it just everything just goes together. You know what I'm saying? Like the beat definitely just goes with everything in the album. And this was fire.
Yeah, fire track. Track number 11, Jimmy's bonus beat. I could have done without this beat to be real. It's not a bad beat, but I feel like when it comes to like a lot of these 80s albums, they want to do like a DJ break. I feel like one is pretty much all we need. I didn't feel like we needed another one. But eh,
I like it. I think the beat was fire. I mean, you could easily see them rapping over it, but they gave us 13 bangers on this album. Like, if they throw in like two instrumentals, I think it was still fire. So
right, okay. And the last track is the promo featuring Q-Tip. Again, another song where Q-Tip stole the show, in my opinion. Very, very, very ill track right here. You know what I'm saying? Love the beat to that. The beat definitely had a nice little vibe to it.
that
Yeah,
joint,
classic.
that joint, that was like one of the first joints I heard when this album came out. And this was a banger. You know what I'm saying? Like the beat and that little horn loop or whatever, and you got Q-Tip saying, "So get the ducats, it's coming out soon." The month after March, two before June. Safe from the Catskills to the Soho. Listen to the words it say on the promo. I loved his verse on that, and they ended off this album with a banger, like one of my favorite tracks at the end of the album. And this was great. Yeah,
Definitely
and then
agree.
you got Red Alert with his little ad lib word up, fire.
Yes. All right. Overall, this is the hip hop classic, in my opinion. A very, very, very dope album. I definitely feel like it was way ahead of its time. It was very groundbreaking in terms of like what was to come with the native tongues. How different it was from like a lot of the hip hop shit that was aired at that time and stuff too. So I would definitely have given it a 4.5 out of 5. I know it got 5 mics on the source too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did it?
I'm not mad about it. Yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah, I wasn't reading the source till '92, so I don't know how they graded things before '92. You
yeah.
know, but yeah, I mean this was definitely a great album. Has that monotone, sample heavy production, just beats rhymes. You know, you had that native tongue influence, like an Afrocentric rap album, and a lot of the messages are still relevant today. You know, when you hear a song like Black is Black or Browski, I loved it. The great um, rhymes by Baby Bam and Mike G and Sammy B on the cuts. We can't forget the DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, Straight Out the Jungle, the promo. I'm gonna do you behind the bush, Jim Browski, all bangers to me, man. I don't think there's one whack track on this album. I think definitely a five mic classic, and we gotta put respect on Jungle Brothers. The same way people know about Tribe and De La and Latifah and Moni Love. You got they have a lot of members. Prince Paul is a part of them.
Yes.
Black Sheep, like I mentioned, Chi Ali. Dilla, rest in peace. They gotta the same way we know those other members. People gotta know Jungle Brothers because they really started it for the crew, and let's put respect on them now before it's too late. So to me, it's definitely a five mic classic.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm not mad about that. All right. Before we do our inside the scene, I gotta do a few things downstairs right quick. So give me like a couple of seconds. Dope review, by the way.
Is this album out of print or no? It's out of print, right?
As of now, yeah.
Okay. I think all the albums are out of print actually. Yeah, man, it's expensive online, but for this album, I think it's worth it though. Definitely, definitely underrated. You need to hear a lot of stuff, Q. You're way behind. Yeah, I I agree with that, Wally. I thought Mike G killed it on a lot of the tracks. I thought Baby Bam killed it. They work well together. I don't have a favorite. I think they both good. You know, I gotta check that out. They got a documentary on YouTube. What's the name of it? I can't find it on YouTube. Native tongues or state property? I gotta go with native tongues because they had more of an impact on the culture than state property has. Yep. I need that 3 feet high and rising. Definitely gotta add that. Yeah, it's coming out on colored vinyl, like yellow vinyl. I think they got one that's gonna be like pink vinyl or something like that. All right. Oh, it creates the content. I see his channel now. That's dope. Yeah, he's talking about all the artists that don't get no shine. Jungle Brothers, Kid and Play. That's what's up. Oh yeah, that's when I was on the De La Street team for that album for Artificial Intelligence, and we had to promote the Ooh song, and they gave us like the 12-inch on vinyl and the CD single, and yeah, that was. And then when I saw the video, it was dope, like the whole Wizard of Oz theme and everything. When MTV actually played that video like in a heavy rotation back then, when they was still playing videos and shit. That's a slept on Della album too. I don't think we talked about that one yet. I know Red said he wanted to discuss like the other albums. Yeah, they sent me the shirt actually, but it was too big for me. It was like double XL. I couldn't fit that. They sent me the Ooh shirt. It had like De La Soul logo in the front and it had like Ooh in the back.
Hey, I'm back. What y'all talking about?
Um, De La. We didn't talk about artificial intelligence, right?
No, we're gonna do that March.
Okay. I was trying to remember if we talked about that one or not. Yeah, Raw Deluxe. That's out of print also.
Y'all ready for another Insider Zine? Yeah, this is the issue number 19, the March and April issue of 91. You got the Islamic Summit right here.
Nice.
Kane, Paris, and Hakeem Shabazz. Got Leaders of the New School right here too.
Oh yeah, Gold Digger. Classic album.
All right, the top source LPs of the month. They have Main Source Breaking Atoms, EPMD Business
Yeah.
as Usual, Bernubian All for One, Chubb Rock, Treat 'Em Right EP, Ice Cube, Kill at Will EP, King Son, Righteous but Ruthless, Big Daddy Kane, Taste of Chocolate, LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out, Paris, The Devil Made Me Do It, Gangstar, Stephanie Arena, The Genius, Words from a Genius, Run DMC, Back from Hell, JVC, Force Field, Too Short, Short Dogs in the House, Kid Capri, The Tape.
A lot of good albums on that list.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good albums.
Now the 12-inch singles. Leaders of the New School, Teachers Don't Teach Us Nonsense. The Jungle Brothers, I Get a Kick Out of You. EPMD, Rampage. Rakim, No Omega Remix. Son of Berserk, J-Dub stand. Digital Underground, same song.
Yeah.
Number 7, Public Enemy, Get the Fuck Out of Dodge. Number 8, Intelligent Hoodlum, Arrest the President. Number 9, Cool G Rap, Wanted Dead or Alive. Number 10, Gangstar's Just to Get a Rep. Number 11, King Son, Be Black. Number 12, KMD, Gas Face Refill. Number 13, Terminator X, Buck Wilder. Number 14, Master Ace, Music Man. Last but not least, number 15, Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs, I Got to Have It.
Oh, some great records on that year.
For real though. Okay. Got the Fat Boys.
Another group that's not mentioned a lot.
Oh, they got the group. They got some Grammy nominees at the time for Best Rap Solo Performance.
Who's that?
So for the nominees for this one, Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen. Big Daddy Kane, I Get the Job Done.
Big record.
Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby.
His big hit.
Money Love, Money in the Middle. And last but not least, MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This.
Hammer probably win that one. I don't know, because with Vanilla Ice, that song was huge back then. I think it will come down to Hammer and Vanilla Ice, but I think Hammer would win that.
Yeah, because they also had a link that said the predicted winner was MC Hammer, but they felt like Queen Latifah deserved the award, and they also said if Vanilla Ice wins, somebody's going to pay for it.
Well, you know, the people would have been pissed. You know, it's almost like when Macklemore won for Best Rap Album over, was it Good Kid, Mad City?
Kendrick.
Yeah. So, and I like the Macklemore album, but it's not better than Kendrick's album though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, people would have been pissed. But I mean, those are like the two biggest records on the charts at that time.
Right, MC Hammer won that award and shit too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Hammer did win.
Yeah.
He had a big record. He basically like really opened the doors for mainstream rap with that song. It was just sampling that Rick James song.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, now we're gonna have the best rap performance by a duo or group. And the nominees were DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and in this corner, Quincy Jones featuring Ice-T, Melly Mel, Big Daddy Kane, and Kumo D, Back on the Block.
Nice.
Public Enemy, Fear for Black Planet. Digital Underground, the Humpty Dance. Facts. And West Coast Rap All-Stars were all in the same game. They said oh, go ahead.
I was saying, you got to give it to Quincy because Quincy, Back on the Block was a great album. Um,
He wanted.
he won.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to give it to Quincy. But I love Same Song. Same Song was just a great record. You know, just having Pac for the first time with them on that track. And what did Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince got? They got nominated for the album or for the single?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole album. See, and that's one of my favorite albums from them. You know,
That's my favorite album.
I know you don't really care for that one, but um, I think I could beat Mike Tyson. That was like a huge hit when that came out. Because that was like at a time when Mike Tyson's Punch Out was actually out. Like you're playing a video game and you're listening to this record that Will Smith is talking about, you know, trying to beat Mike Tyson. I just thought that would have been like great marketing, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like you playing a video game while you listening to the song. He needed a deal with Nintendo or something, man.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that shit, boy.
Put him in the commercial while he's like actually fighting Mike Tyson. All in the same gang. I remember that because they performed that on Arsenio back in the day.
Right.
That whole like all the West Coast All Stars at that time, man, that was a great record too. That was like their version of Self Destruction.
Yeah, you right. You ain't lying about that. Trust me. Yeah, I love we're on the same gang and shit. I thought they all been in for the most part. EPMD and EPMD actually got the hip hop quotable Paris Smith's verse for Rampage.
Oh, for Rampage, wow. I love Eric Sermon's verse more. You know,
Shit, I feel like LL Cool J killed that shit.
LL definitely, but I think Eric's verse was fire.
All right, Large Professor interview.
So was he talking about leaving the group then?
No, he was just. This was when Breaking the Adams actually got released.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Hip Hop Islam, and they were trying to organize that.
What's that about?
Pretty much, just bringing the powers of Islam and hip hop culture together. Long story short.
Oh yeah, I just seen I seen what's his name Chase Infinite talk about that. He was on the Talib podcast and he was talking like because he's Muslim and he was talking about rap having like the artist like actually be Muslim at that time and convert to Nation of Islam and then it was in their music as well.
That sounds dope.
Huh?
That sounds dope. Alrighty. Moment we've all been waiting for. Yeah, the ratings. Digital Underground. This is an EP release. 3 mics.
That was a great EP.
True. I would have probably given it 4.
Yeah, I would have given it 4, man. 'Cause it had more than just Same Song on there. They had Tie the Knot was my joint. That was a banger. That was like one of the first CDs I ever bought. It was that and Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah, facts. You know how much we love Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah.
Young Black Teenager, self-titled. 3.5 mics.
I never heard their first album.
I never cared for them.
I wasn't a fan of them back just at that yet. Like not until Tap the Bottle came out, like '93. Then I was like, cause then I was hearing songs from that album, but I remember them at that time, but I wasn't like a fan of these shit. I was like, I didn't get them. I was like, these dudes is white, but they call themselves young black teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have the internet at that time, so like we didn't know that, Chuck D actually gave them that name. So I was still like, I remember reading like an article in the Daily News about them because they had written up a whole thing about them and these white kids doing rap and they call themselves young black teenagers, and so it was like a controversial thing. But once they came out with we Tap the Bottle, I was like, oh, okay. I remember this is the same group from the first album. Like, they actually sound dope.
Yeah, I just never really vibe with them like that. I mean, they had some nice beats from the Bomb Squad, but I don't know, man. Shit.
I think they were like, hip hop wasn't ready for them yet.
Right.
We were still trying to. I don't even want to say except Vanilla Ice, but the fact that Vanilla Ice got a multi-platinum record, you know what I'm saying? It was like that pissed a lot of people off. So I don't think like the community was ready for young black teenagers, at that time.
Nah, they were not ready yet by any means. Shit.
Yeah, like that's how I felt about PM Dawn. They wasn't ready for PM Dawn album, for they religious views and stuff, and it was too much. You had like religious groups going after them and all that, so they wasn't ready for them at that time. But now I think in a different era, they would have been huge.
True. I'm not the biggest fan of them either, but I definitely hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, Stetsasonic, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. 3 mics.
I don't think I ever heard that. That's not the one we're talking all that jazz, right?
No, that was In Full Gear.
Yeah, I didn't hear this Sonic album.
Yeah, I heard bits and pieces of this one. This one was pretty okay.
Right.
Professor X, Years of the Nine. 3 mics.
So another X Clan is another group I really like. I knew all their stuff, but wasn't checking for them like that.
Facts. Yeah, never really was a big X Clan fan myself like that, to be real with you. The Genius, Words from the Genius. 3.5 mics.
The GZA. How was that album? I never listened to that one.
Bits and pieces. That was pretty straight.
Do people even consider that his debut? Like, I know it's his debut, but like they totally skip over there and go to Liquid Swords.
Yeah, I feel like
it's amazing how him and RZA have come a long way. RZA came a long way from Prince Raheem to Bobby Digi, and same with GZA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely feel you about that. You know what I'm saying? I've heard bits and pieces of this album. I haven't heard the whole thing. But from what I heard, it was pretty. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't really the best thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some of the Easy Mo B joints was fire as fuck though. But yes.
I mean, yeah, but I don't feel like they opened the doors for white rappers. You had MC Search, that was the illest of that time with third bass, and he could dance like a black guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You had Everlast doing this thing with Rhyme Syndicate. So they didn't open the door for white rappers. I don't feel like there's certain like artists, like rap groups like PM Dawn, Young Black Teenagers, that hip hop at that time wasn't ready for them. If they came out in a different era, they would have blew up. But at that time they wasn't ready. It wasn't the right time for them. Beastie Boys was already doing their thing, and they were accepted. And that's a punk rock band that started doing rap.
Exactly. And they play their own instruments too.
They play their own instruments, right? They were like the Roots all in one, and they spit bars. They could break dance. They lived on both coasts, both New York and Cali. They did joints with everybody, you know what I'm saying? So they were already respected, and they came from like a rock side with fight for your right. And look at them now, they legends.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on all parts of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Beastie Boys definitely fucking fire as a group, one of the best hip hop groups of all time and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So definitely agree 100% with what you just said. But yeah, I think they give it like a 3.5 mics, which, I mean,
The what?
for the genius words from the genius.
Oh, I gotta hear that album. Like I wouldn't just have it just to have it because it's a jizzle, but if it's actually good, like I would definitely get it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. DJ Quick is the name. 3 mics.
Classic. That should be
They got
5.
this. They got this one wrong. Hell no.
What they gave it 3 mics?
True.
Nah, that should be 5. I don't think Quick has a bad album.
Me neither.
Really don't. I think every album was solid. You had albums that was slept on, but I don't think he made like a whack album.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Quick his discography is very consistent for the most
Quick's
part.
discography shits on a lot of other people's discography. He a producer at that. He a producer at that. Last time I checked, Fabulous ain't got the same discography like Quick.
Shit. Anyway, the last album and this one before I go to the singles, BWP, the BYTCHES. You know what I'm saying? 2.5 mics.
Never listened to them. What's that? The Bitches with Problems?
Yeah.
Never listened to them. I used to always see they album covers and shit in the stores. I never like bothered to hear them.
I saw some of the albums in stores show that too. So yeah. All right, now when it comes to singles, you know what I'm saying? We just want to talk about them and then show the ratings and stuff like that too for each single. You had the Intelligent Hoodlum with Arrest the President remix. I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
That's a great record. Back when he was like on some militant shit. This is not before CNN. You know, Thug Matrix and shit.
Exactly. Yeah, before all that shit happened.
Yeah.
Eric B and Rakim, Mahogany, 3.5 mics.
What's the name of it?
Mahogany.
They give that 3 mics?
Disrespectful.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean it's Benzino, right? So Benzino was still under that, like owning them at that time, right?
No, this is way before Benzino.
Before Benzino? I'm about to say because he don't know shit about no damn storytelling. You know, he wasn't no good rapper. Mahogany's a classic, man.
That's a 5 mic classic, in my opinion. The DOC Mind Blowing, 3 mics.
That should.
You said what?
It should be higher. The DLC version.
Facts. Definitely should fucking higher. And the last one is Nikki D, Daddy's Little Girl. They gave this 3.5 mics.
That's a big hit. That should be higher too. She ain't had nothing else bigger than that.
Facts.
She just came out with one album, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's her big hit. And she sampled of the Tom's Diner joint, Suzanne Vega. You know what I'm saying? That should
yeah,
be higher.
that should be way higher. But
Yeah, they were
motherfucker.
messing up even back then. They were messing up the ratings.
They actually did some more record reports and shit. I'm just gonna run by these right quick. Kid Capri, Apollo, Three Mics.
Is that from his first album?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't remember that joint. Is the Apollo? I think he had a video where it was inside the Apollo. Is that the joint?
Yeah, that's the joint right there.
Yeah, I never heard that album. I remember the video.
Yeah, that Kid Capri album name was pretty dope and shit. We slept on.
Like
LOG and the Bulldogs. I gotta have it.
classic,
3.5 mics.
classic. That should be five from a classic album at that.
Next,
Well, I think America's Most Wanted is a five mic classic. I don't see the bias. I never felt like they were biased at all. Like they covered all coasts.
that's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? That's really before like Double XL and the Vibe and all that. Like that magazine you could discover Bay Area rap and down south rap and East Coast, West Coast. I never felt like they were biased at all. They covered all the coasts. That's how it should be anyway.
Yeah, definitely hear your point about that shit. Um, Grand Puba, 360 degrees, three and a
Classic.
half mics.
Nah, they bugging. Real to Real is a classic solo album from Grand Puba. His best album. That joint was yo. You remember when he performed that on in Living Color?
Yeah,
That's one of the best performances on that show. He had the backpack on, the Tommy rocking the Tommy shirt and all that, the shorts, the ACG Nikes and all that. That was the style back in 90, 91, 92. Your bow jeans and all that.
yeah,
But Jay,
man.
yeah, we mentioned X Clan before. They had a Professor X album in there.
All right, and last one, this leads to the new school case of the PTA. 4 mics.
Classic. I love that whole song about how they talked about the whole parents and teacher relationship. Cause I remember all that. It was like parents teacher night. Your parent going up to school, and if the teacher say something bad about you, they taking the teacher side over you. I'm like, yo, but you ain't in class, so you ain't see what's going on. I'm
I
I'm
hate
I'm,
that shit.
I'm sitting in the back of the class and I'm seeing niggas throw spitballs through a straw at the teacher. I'm like, yo, they being disruptive. How the fuck is kids supposed to learn anything if you got the class clown getting on top of the table and showing his ass to the teacher? How's anybody supposed to learn? You ain't there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm the one that's there. You ain't there. So you can't tell me like, oh well, I agree with your teacher. Nah, you ain't there. If we had cell phones, it'd be much easier to take footage and show our parents like, yo, this is what's going on in class. The fuck would the teacher say? You know what I mean? So I love that whole story. Case of the PTA. That was a great record.
Yeah, very dope record. Very dope record. That's like one of my favorite leads in new school songs and shit. But yeah, I'm actually about to end off this video right here. Let's check. I gotta say some of my minutes. So this was a very dope review we did earlier. Nice insight and theme. Um,
Classic.
I know
I'm on my
tomorrow
tape shit again. If I got to get an album on tape, then so big because some of these albums are expensive as fuck on vinyl and CD, and If it's like $4 on cassette, I'm getting it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
will pump cassettes, and it sounds good on cassette anyway. So love it, I love the cassettes. Shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Killer Tape. He's a tape head as well. So
That's what's up. That's what's up. Alrighty, all right. Appreciate this try as usual. I know tomorrow we're gonna do Talking Heads Speaking in Tongues album.
what time you
Tomorrow.
doing that?
Midnight.
Talking Heads. Only Talking Heads album I've heard too. So
Yeah, man. That's gonna be a fun album and shit like that. I can't wait for that. I need to get more of the albums. I knew I got like I think 2 or 3 albums from them. But yeah, man, can't wait till tomorrow. I'll see you later. Try as usual. Hope you have a good night.
you too.
Peace.
Peace.